Margaret. I have Margaret. Let me know when. Yeah, see, I like to micromanage this because I have a set of skills that are no longer needed by anyone.
Right.
Which is directing, creating television shows, making movies.
Yeah.
I know market. No one even says that anymore.
Right. Well, you did The Godfather, right?
Right.
Making movies.
I played the dead horse in the bed.
Yeah.
That was my horse. And I know how to do all these things that nobody respects anymore. And it's like I'm
you've turned this podcast into like an episode of Frasier. Like you've turned it like the slating and the like, let's start.
But why?
It takes all the fun and spontaneity out of it. And it makes it into something it's not. But it's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I do with relationships as well. Everything has to be over-controlled to the point of having absolutely no serendipitous fun or anything. Because none of it matters, no matter how much magic you catch. It does not matter if the sound isn't good or if it's not in focus.
Right.
I did an independent movie where I put my own money into it. We shot 14 days, like the whole day. Like that's not a lot of time to do a feature movie. Like was giving my whole life. And we go into post. Half of the shots are out of focus. People were like, Whitney's crazy. She's micromanaging. She's control. I'm like, can we just check and make sure it's in focus? Everyone's like, oh, fucking women, bitches be crazy. Get in there. Half of it's out of focus. And there's extras in the back. There's one, remember in the bookstore scene, there's a bookstore scene at the end. Had to pay my own money, like rent out this bookstore, shooting the scene. And I kept saying, I was like, because I was on camera, I was like, there's a weird extra in the background wearing like pajamas. I'm telling you, it's weird. And I was like, Whitney, just calm down. Just stop fucking micromanaging everyone. We get into post. It fully looks like someone in a KKK hood.
Right.
It is a long T-shirt that looks like KKK garb. We have to send it to India. It costs $8,000 to remove it frame by frame. But I micromanage.
Well, this is not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tim has decided that I am profoundly, eternally wrong on pretty much everything.
Not profoundly.
Okay. But eternally.
I've never said you were profoundly anything.
You have, the last time you were on the Good For You podcast, you spent 2 hours eviscerating me for being irrelevant and what still makes me laugh, an old goat that knows nothing about the hot new kids. Everyone that you bragged about is either on trial. Who was it? Oh yeah, the TikTok. It wasn't David Dobrik that you were into at the time.
No, I was saying that you were disconnected from what was going on.
Thank God.
And you were talking about me being a judge on The Masked Dancer. I believe you were saying that the career goals that I should have involved being a judge on The Masked Dancer. And I was saying, no, I don't want to do that. And you were aghast at the idea that someone would maybe want to skip that part of this business.
Let me ask you a question. What would be more hilarious than you as a judge on The Masked Dancer?
Fun banter with a hostess at a restaurant.
But
literally anything else.
But you get to do it all. Like, that's my thing, is like, take the money.
Here's the thing. You don't get to do it all. This is the fallacy.
Okay.
You do not get to do it all. Who is doing it all?
That's a great question.
That's what I want to know.
That's a great, who we still respect.
Sure. Nobody's doing it all.
Tiffany Haddish kind of does it all.
Where's her podcast?
I know. Well, that's a good question.
But I mean, I'm not saying she needs one.
Yeah.
She doesn't need one.
Yes. You got to pick.
She doesn't need it.
Do two things well.
Right.
And a third thing every now and then for a money grab. My thing is more, don't cut off your opportunity for the fun money grabs. If someone comes to you and is like, hey, for $500,000, you want to do 4 episodes of The Masked Dancer all in one day, just do it. And this is what I love about you, is that you live an interesting life so you can tell interesting stories. Go do it, if anything, because your podcast will get better because you'll be able to tell stories about it.
The reason why this is a false choice is because I am not being asked to, I'm not being asked to judge a Masked Dancer.
Right.
Because I would, when I got to set.
And by the way, I never said you should do that. I had just done it.
You did, and people can watch it and make their own decisions.
You know I was on drugs that entire time.
If I was judging The Masked Dancer, I would stop in the middle of it and go, why are we here? Why are we doing this? What is wrong what is so deeply wrong with all of us. That is why they don't ask me to do it.
Mass dance. I mean, look, there is something to be said for mass distraction and visual anesthesia.
And we had it for a while, and it was great art, right? Or great shows, right? We had amazing television. We still do have some really great shows. We had great movies. That's mass distraction. I don't know why mass distraction has to be somebody dressed up like a tiger dancing on television and then you quizzing them about what reality show they could have been on and trying to figure out their identity.
Here's what I'll say. It is for...
Because that makes me go, I'm not distracted anymore. I want to join a militia. Instead of, oh, this was a good episode of ER, I go, this is dumb. They're bombing every country in the world. They're taking all of our money, and they're not even giving us. You know, my friend Nick Mullen would always say, like, just give us good movies.
Yeah.
If you're gonna let Epstein and Ghislaine run the whole, just can you give us fucking Tommy Boy?
We're gonna get back to that in a second, but who would be higher on the list than me to play Ghislaine Maxwell in a miniseries? Name one person who'd be better at it than me.
A better actress,
or just a better pick.
I don't know.
Maybe like of course Julianne
Moore. Can you do a British accent? Can you do it?
Of course.
Can you do a British accent? Because it's proper. It's not. It's not.
Is
the
it
Midlands.
Cockney?
No, that's Cockney. That's Southern.
That was not Cockney. That was nothing.
Southern is Cockney.
You know what I can do?
And then there's Northern, which is Manchester, Liverpool. But Ghislaine, I think, it was sort of slow. It's droll. It
was posh.
Jeffrey.
It was very posh.
It's a deep voice.
Jeffrey, I've got a new
darling.
girl. I've got a girl for you.
Oh, it's Naomi Campbell.
She's
good to see you.
Barely 16.
It's very young. They're very young, but everybody's having fun.
The T's are D's. She's barely 16. You'll love.
No, now you're going.
I'm
totally,
auditioning.
Yeah, but it's bad.
You loved this young. I don't know how to say pussy with an English accent.
But Ghislaine would never say that.
Oh, good point.
So you have to understand. You're just being a little naughty, weren't you? Weren't you being a little naughty?
Oh, Jeffrey.
Bill and Hillary were being a little naughty. And it's just kind of a soft...
Billy.
It's a soft, regal kind of British accent. It's not that punchy.
Excuse me. Hold for the boat. We forgot to contextualize that we are on Lake Austin, and there are frats on boats behind us.
It's a softer British
partying.
accent. It's not like a Cockney accent where you're imagining it, which is we got all these kids, we fucking the house, love. No, that's not it.
They would have gotten busted way sooner if that was her accent.
Exactly
right. The key to that racket was her in the Escoda and St. John suits.
Horrible woman, but you got to imagine a great dinner party guest.
Dude, no one can be that damaging and insidious
and not a little bit of fun
for that long and not be a charmer. I bet.
Let this episode be an hour defense of Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, but that to me is the conversation nobody will have, which is that no one gets away with stuff that long if they're not a little charming or entertaining or beguiling.
Well, it's a hard point to make. I take it and I agree with it.
I think she was the key to his whole racket.
It's a tough. He was a pimp.
Yeah,
she was the person.
But they were like, "Oh, that's his beautiful wife. He's dating." That is the key to predators: is they're married or aligned with someone that is their same age, even older than them. And you go, "Well, he's married to her. That's so cool. He's with someone his age.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's getting jerked off by children in Coconut Grove or wherever.
Right.
So it's like she throws you off because you see that guy at a party and you're like, he's a fucking pervert, and then you're like, wait, he's with her. And
That's true.
She's got some crow's.
That's a very good
She's
point.
got some crow's feet. She looks like she, has some of those. She doesn't even get her face done. Like, he's not shallow at all. I'm wrong. I'm the asshole.
That's correct.
I judged him.
Yes, that's correct.
Meanwhile, he's just
meanwhile,
tearing through
quite dastardly activity behind closed doors.
That to me is the whole thing.
Well, it's like Bill and Hillary Clinton, right? So you're like, oh, he's with this strong woman who's like a real, she's not a homemaker. She's out there. She's got a career.
Yep.
And he can handle that.
Yep.
And isn't that great? And how modern and how progressive and everything and all the articles in the 90s.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
He wants to date an equal. That's what we say. He wants an equal.
And in the 90s, that was the rationale, or that was the whole, the kind of the inertia that moved their campaign forward, was that it was the inevitability of the progressive modern change. This is a strong woman.
Yeah.
But what it really was partners
He could be with some thought, and he's
power.
not.
What was great is recently there was a quote from the Gail Sheehy biography of Hillary, where after Lewinsky, she didn't talk to him for a matter of months, and then only started talking to him again when she called him and told him to bomb Syria. So that's a real marriage.
So I am fascinated with those old school relationships where it's like we're a business, and
Yes.
I've heard I know a lot of these couples in Hollywood, and the whole thing is do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't want to fuck you. You don't want to fuck me.
Right.
We don't have a prenup. Just don't embarrass me. That's the deal.
That's the relationship I'm in with Robert Pattinson right now. It's who wanted to Zoom. He wanted to do a Zoom with me and then backed out of it.
What?
My agent goes, Robert Pattinson wants to do a Zoom with you, and then I was like, okay, sure. And then I emailed back, and she was like, oh, we'll figure it out, LOL. But then nothing.
Nothing.
So,
what do you think? Here's the problem with.
I think it was just, hey, I like your show.
You're in the place
or
where people just want to talk to you.
Yeah,
and you're
maybe.
like, okay, I'm not going on weird dates. Like, I say
Maybe.
money and the project up front before I get on the phone with you and waste so much of my time.
I would waste time listening to what he had to say. Why not?
I bet he could help me with my English accent.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, perhaps. But those, like the Obamas slept in separate beds, and the Clintons were like, when you get to that level of work that has to be done every day, you can't have a relationship like my aunt and my uncle
This
do.
is a business. You are both. I actually, I used to work on I was doing a joke for a while before, when Hillary was running. This was before Force, so this must have been 12 years ago. I was in Napa, which is a super conservative part of the country. I didn't really know that. And I went on stage and I said something about like, oh my God, we could have a female president. It's still, the chances of her winning at that time were incredibly slight. This is the first time she ran. And I was doing jokes about having a female president. And there were a lot of like kind of unoriginal jokes going around, like when she's on her period, watch out, she's gonna start a war. Like people like had already done shit about female president stuff. But I was trying to do one that was like, the first female president, if we have the first female president, we're gonna have to like put in a contract that she's not sucking her husband's, like he has to get sex workers during the time she's president, because like no world leader can know she's sucking like that's the least regal act you can do. Like just everyone needs to know, so that they're not sitting in meetings being like, did she have her head in someone's fucking lap last night? Just to let everyone know she's not fucking for that 4 years. It has to be part of it, because it's just too degrading. You can't respect. And I was in Napa doing a joke in that area, and someone yelled at me, know your demographic. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And then like this is the only time I've ever done stand-up where a fight broke out in the audience and I couldn't see what was going on. Like people were like, I just saw like rustling, and people, I didn't realize how sort of conservative that area was.
I agree with the person who yelled that.
But
because it's a wine, people are trying to get wine drunk in Napa, and they don't need you showing up and telling them about Little Miss President.
But it wasn't a charged political joke. It was like I was also
But people are
I was talking
insane.
about Ross Perot. I was talking,
Yes.
and I was like, I am just not going to do political
You're dating
material.
yourself now a little bit. You're like, I was doing my Truman bit. And then I broke into What If We Had a Lady in there, and I got, I was doing my old.
I was not doing a Ross Perot
I was
bit,
doing
but
my
I
old
did.
Thomas Jefferson chunk. And then I forget you've been in the business literally since the dawn of time. People forget this about you. This isn't dye. This is her natural hair. She's been in the business so long that she can throw out that she was doing Ross Perot material.
I never was. I swear.
Crazy.
I was trying to think of because then I was like Dan Quayle. I do so little politics. Growing up and spending most of my time in DC, you get so fucking sick of politics that I can't even like follow it. To me, it's just become a
DC
sport.
is a shitty city because people only talk about politics. New York, people talk about real estate and food. This is true. People are obsessed with where you live, how you got the apartment, what does it look like, how many square feet is it?
In New York.
In New York, everything in New York is real estate because it's 8.5 miles by 2 miles. So people are, every position that people end up being in, everybody's fascinated by like, there's no other city. Every other city you sit down, you go, I got an apartment. They go, oh, where is it? By the park? You go, great, great, great. In New York, it's, how did you get it? What was the deal?
Yes.
Who lives there? It's an obsession with New York because getting a good deal is what everybody's into. And they love food in New York because there are so many restaurants and there's so many things where people will get into like loud and angry debates about cheesecake or whatever. And that's what New York talks about, like money, real estate, food. DC is only politics,
Yeah.
and LA is only the
Traffic.
entertainment business and traffic.
When you arrive,
And now
somewhere-
it's homeless people, but it used to just be.
It used to be like, so how did you get here?
Right.
And then for the first 20
Yeah.
minutes, you talk about how you got to
and
the
Austin,
meeting.
because it's nothing.
Yep.
No one talks about anything because there's nothing to talk about except the tech people are moving here, and people either love it or hate it.
I love
there's
that
nothing
you're-
to talk about. It's a city without an identity.
I love that you're
it's zero.
furious that Austin is getting highly populated and more corporate because you've talked about it for the past year and made it popular. This is your fault.
I have said nothing about the city of Austin, Texas. And I want to go on record here.
Okay, I'm not. Go.
Is a dump. It is a dump. The city of Austin, Texas is for people that have not made it in other cities, like myself. Like myself. No, it's true. No, it's true. If I had the money to live in the Pacific Palisades,
Which is
like
now on
Ryan
fire.
Phillippe, I would be okay. I'm a loser.
But
and
if
I'm
Ryan
here.
Phillippe hadn't been divorced by Reese Witherspoon, he would not be able to live in the Palisades.
That is also true.
That is no prenup money.
That is also correct. But he's a lovely
He's not on
man.
the Cruel Intentions money.
No.
He's not living off.
No.
He's not living off that DVR
But what
money.
I'm saying is I am here as a loser amongst losers. Let's be quite honest about what it is.
But you came from New York. I fucking called this, and
You're right.
Do not listen.
You were right about one thing, and it was that.
I should dye my hair.
No, it was that. Austin. I was going to be very unfulfilled.
Which is fine because the more unfulfilled you are, the funnier you are.
Sure.
So I'm fine with you continuously making terrible mistakes and not listening
Ben
to me.
and his wife love it, but they like street lights. Like they get excited if there's street lights, and they get excited about it's like
They're
being,
simple people.
They're very simple people.
They're
They like to
simple.
stare at the sun and wait for Satan to come and kill them both because they grew up in a cult. I like a little stimulation here and there. I don't get it here because Austin is a little city. There's 2 streets downtown where everybody gets drunk and shoots each other. And then in and around it is like people that are like at coffee shops angry. And I'm like, dummy, of course you're not making it. You live here, you schmuck.
Well, Austin, look, as someone that is half from Texas, I'm not coming for you,
I
Texas.
like Texas. I love Dallas. I love Houston.
Well,
I like Dallas.
You're a man of the finer things in life. I mean,
I came here for dinner. You show up with pimento cheese in a plastic cup. She said we're having dinner. I thought she would have a meal. She had a frozen pizza she didn't know how to cook. There's 9 assistants. No one can get a pizza in the oven here. She's got more employees than the Pentagon, and no one can get a pizza in the oven. And then we're eating queso that's not even warm, and I had to smoke 19 cigarettes to fill myself up.
And by the way, actually, I kind of stalled on the pizza. I could have really asked someone to do it, but I looked down and it said gluten free, and I was like, we can't even bring that to Tim.
I look in the refrigerator. She's got almond yogurt. I mean, it's like it's.
But the thing that fascinates me about you is that you are obsessed with living the life of a billionaire, but like right now.
Yes.
At all times.
Well, life is short. This is what people don't realize. Life is over already.
That's right. We're dying.
Life is over already.
But what would, as someone who, as I've known you, you have got nothing but exponentially successful. You're getting what you wanted, and from what I gather, you're more dissatisfied and cranky.
And I imagine I'll continue to be up until the point where I'm eaten by sharks.
But I think this is a good thing. Howard Stern, it's very much like Howard Stern. Howard Stern was so funny when he was like in a bad marriage, remember? Now everyone's like, he's just an amazing interview. But the angrier you are as a podcaster, comedian, the better, don't you think?
Well, I'm also just confused. That's all. I'm confused. I am making a go of it here for the time that I
What's
can
the
do
go?
it.
What was the go? What's the go? To do your podcast in Texas opposed. I love it. Everyone's like, I'm gonna go save money on taxes. You're actually making money, but half the comedians that came out here were making $20,000 a year. I'm like,
the idea for me more than
you
the
weren't
money.
paying
Listen,
taxes.
the money is big, but more than the money for me was that it was going to be new. And I said to myself, I just quarantined for a year in a place.
Yes.
If I can get out of this place and I can do something new,
Yep.
that might be exciting. I come to find out it's not exciting. It's actually much worse. And it's a horrible city without a soul. It's a soulless city that should be burned to the ground. And everyone that lives here should be summarily executed or forced to be in a North Korean-style labor camp where they get skinnier and skinnier until they simply disappear, and no one will remember them because no one here can even make a fucking documentary about this dump. It is not the live music capital of America. It's 3 heroin addicts busking with guitars. There is 0 talent here in any capacity. There's 3 restaurants that are good, and I've been to all of them twice already. It is over. Tech demons will come in and do what they did to San Fran. They'll colonize the outside of Austin, and they'll invent chips to shove up your ass. And the city of Austin will be what it has always been, an uninteresting dullard. But I do own a home here now. And I will say that I'm very dramatic. It is a great place to come and live.
It's beautiful.
Because the appreciation of the home is important to me. So I will say that comedically I'm very dramatic, but it is a great place to live, and a lot of people love it, and I love it. And I want more people to come and keep buying the homes. Because it has these secret nooks and crannies, and you find... I didn't even know who I was until I moved here, but it is a beautiful place. So keep coming and buying. I'm doing a bit on a comedy podcast, but what I really believe is that it's a great place to raise a family as long as they, like you, are dull and never want to succeed.
I am obsessed with the fact that so many comedians followed a billionaire to Austin.
That was listen, he's not a billionaire, by the way. He barely has money. Secondly, he's fine. I run in circles with people that got a little more than him.
I love that all these comedians moved out to Austin and be like, I'm gonna get on a show. He'd rather have someone.
No, he literally brought homeless people here that are talking about taxes. They're like, I'm gonna save money on tax. It's like you live in a tent.
But also, he'd rather have someone that makes bespoke knives on than you.
Right.
He's the piece.
No, there's people that are moving here that have never been on the show. They've known him 16 years. They've never done the show.
They're just hoping that the people he's flying in miss their flight and he needs someone last minute. They're just sitting in the parking lot like gargoyles, just like maybe someone's going to cancel.
It'll all be great. I don't know, but it just feels I am not into it yet.
Well, you are. I
like sociopaths because they're funny and I can make fun of them. And Austin has a few of them.
They'll shoot you in the face if you make fun of them.
But no, it's just boring. It is boring here.
But Joe has a family and he has a whole thing. Like, I was just like, the idea of moving there, like, you know, without a family or without having to like put a kid in school. I just was like, you're just gonna be in a house in the hills alone with your own thoughts all day. This is not gonna go well.
No, but I'm gonna travel a lot to LA and then eventually I'll remedy this. But it's an interesting thing.
What have you learned about yourself? Have you learned anything about yourself?
I've learned a lot about Austin, and I've learned a lot about that the craziness of LA, the insanity of it, was funny.
Yeah.
And town is really not that funny. This town's not that funny.
People are happy. It's placid.
It ain't funny.
It's placid.
It ain't funny.
When you go to LA, it's a great, like New York, it's a great place to live because. What was that?
That's Rogan. Relax. He's calm down. He's strangling a bird on the leg.
He's doing his nightly bird.
Yeah.
Bird strangle. Now it is time for us to take a break from the Tim Dillon vitriol to talk about my favorite liquid on the planet. Nope, not that one. It's called Juneshine. Is there any product that I use more in my life? Personally, Grace can come testify do I drink anything except Juneshine is the question.
No.
Juneshine, it's hard kombucha. This one is a tall boy, so it's 6% alcohol. I like to say that it's because I don't do well on any other alcohols. I don't drink anything else because this is the only product I have found that you can drink, have a little kick, relax a tiny bit.
A brighter buzz.
Whoa. And then not text your ex at midnight trying to get back together. It's all the upsides of having something that loosens you up without all the downsides. I call this my night-night juice because it puts all my negative qualities to night-night. Mm-hmm. It puts my alter ego to night-night and makes my my inner child go night-night. So it stops going, wah, and ruining my life.
And it should be noted that if you're not like a big kombucha drinker, this doesn't taste like what
Not
you.
at all.
Here's it.
It's sweet.
I'm not open for feedback right now.
Last episode, when Giannis Pappas and Mark Norman were on, they were like, ugh, kombucha. We don't know what that is. That's like some LA, like hippie stuff. They drank it. You're like,
I'm actually drunk on these kombuchas.
I'm a little
I had
tipsy
3
myself.
of them, yeah.
Did you taste it? Taste this
Taste
cold.
that.
Oh,
Taste that cold.
geez.
Yeah, now
That's
keep
like
it out
that
of
is
your
a
mouth, Ben.
that's a spicy kick, is what that is. I
Ooh,
remember.
that does have a kick.
I know,
That is
and
a
I get
nice
these sent
kick.
to all my venues, so I have them in the
Dang,
refrigerator.
you got a rider, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're now addicted.
Yep.
Everybody that I'm just like, just try it. I promise you will be obsessed with it. And hot info. Good for You is making a can. We're getting our own can.
Amazing.
Can for you.
Good for Booch.
Good for Booch.
Oh, funny.
Come bop 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 Booch.
We've worked out an exclusive deal for Good For You podcast listeners. Receive 20% off plus free shipping site-wide. I recommend trying one of their best-selling variety packs. It's a great way to try all their delicious flavors. Go to juneshine.com/Whitney or use code Whitney at checkout to claim this deal. That's JUNESHINE.com/Whitney.
Today's program is brought to you by Athletic Greens. I'm going to try to read everything on the copy because there's lots of important statistics and information, but I need to speak from the heart on this one for a minute. Because remember, Emily, when we were in Corsicana, Texas with Monica Aldama from Cheer, and I was talking about Athletic Greens the whole time?
I tried to record it so we didn't have to shoot this ad.
I know that I am healthier because I've been having Athletic Greens, and I put it in water. I carry them wherever I go. It's a little pouch of vitamin powder that's every vitamin and mineral in the world that you need, and it has improved my quality of life. This is true. There's no jokes here, folks. I mean, profoundly.
One tasty scoop of Athletic Greens contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, multi-mineral, probiotic, green food, super blend, and more that all work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet. Increase energy, focus, and aid with digestion, and it supports a healthy immune system.
Can you stop talking in your customer service voice? Just talk in your normal voice.
But I'm reading an...
I know.
I
but
love energy.
no-
I love focus, and I love digestion.
Anytime I go anywhere with Emily, we'll be in the car, and she's like, "Oh my god, I just..." And then like someone comes to open the door from the hotel, and she's like, "Hi, my name is Emily,"
and
she
I'm not
turns into a
accepting
Disney princess.
feedback
Yeah, which
right
is the
now.
opposite.
Emily's new boundary is, I'm not accepting feedback right now.
I'm not.
Okay, you're fair. Okay,
And
Yeah,
guess
it's fair.
what? Guess what?
Let's talk about it in a minute.
Athletic Greens is doubling down.
I just
They're
got shot
doubling
in the
down.
arm by a Nerf bullet from a foot away because we're shooting me if
Do you
my
think this
ads
was
go
a
too
foot?
long. And you know what? Didn't even hurt. Thank you, Athletic Greens, for helping me grow so much muscle that it doesn't even hurt when Emily shoots me with a dart gun.
Simply visit athleticgreens.com/Whitney and join health Simply visit athleticgreens.com/Whitney and join health experts, athletes, and health conscious go-getters around the world who make a daily commitment to their health every day. Again, simply visit athleticgreens.com/Whitney and get your free year's supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs today. I also do that in that
A
voice.
free year of vitamin D?
Yeah, that's crazy. By
I
the way,
would never have to go outside again.
look at me. Have you before?
Well, you know, I had to
Before
come
this
here.
deal?
So I am now drinking Athletic Greens, something I can honestly say Tim Dillon has never done.
It's
I'm not
some
a
type
lake
of-
person. I'm not a river person. I have to see the bottom. Everyone's like, let's go out on the lake. I'm like, if I cannot see the bottom, I'm not going in a body of water.
Well, the
Bath,
thing is,
I
it's
can
just
barely get in the
New
bath.
York and LA. And listen, there's things in Austin that are, I'm sure they're good. But I just, I don't.
But you're getting up a lot. There's a lot of comedy clubs here.
Will you shut up?
No, but at least you're working your muscle as
I'm
a
flying
comedian.
to LA every week and spending more than I'm saving on taxes because there's nothing to fucking do except perform at a bar for some drunk.
The fact
now that'll
that-
change when Joe opens his club. That'll change. But it is as of right now. And there's a creek in the cave here, and Rebecca's great. But I hate it.
Here's
and
what
I
I'll say.
wanted- I wanted to.
Your genius is that
Well,
you
stop.
will go. Okay, your talent.
No, genius
Yeah,
is the
no,
right
I
word.
do feel like that. I was exaggerating. Is that you will go to a place and you will not really participate in the moment you're in because you are so busy in your head coming up with a rant about it. Like I remember when you came to Thanksgiving, you were just sitting in the corner watching. You do not participate. You don't really want to talk to anybody.
Well, Thanksgiving was a horribly mismanaged nightmare. You are not given entertaining in any real way. It was stressful for the guests. It was odd. You were berating some guy, asking him how much he owed in taxes.
Jim Jeffries walked in with his kid and wife and like didn't even sit down. He
Nobody
just
knew
turned
what
around.
was going on. It was disconcerting for many of us, and I was just processing that moment of sheer insanity.
Well, 'cause-
you were doing like Kegels with Instagram influencers. Meanwhile, Jim Jeffries thought this was a family event. Like, no one knew what was going
but
on.
also, there was so much amazing food there. And I think I haven't, as an adult, hosted parties that have expensive food and no one's eating it. And
Well, they're drug addicts. Your friends are drug addicts, so they're not eating it because they're on cocaine, so they don't need to eat.
I spent so much time being like, "Are you gonna eat this?" I was like,
There were people in the party putting stuffing up their nose because they had no idea how to eat through their mouth. I'm just saying. Yeah, your friends were drinking like CBD milkshakes, and
I was trying to force people to eat all the food
Yeah.
I got. I'm the most annoying guest. 'Cause I'm like, enjoy the party. Try this. Try
But this
this.
is the way Whitney hosts something. She'll be like, "Hello!" It's like a manic mania. As soon as you walk in, like the great socialites, a great host of our time, knew how to like
Lily Pulitzer.
breeze through a room and like really like have a few bits of conversation. Whitney gets in deep with everybody. And it's absurd. Like, you're supposed to have like a very like light touch with everyone, and like, "Hey, how have you been? Where you been? You went on a vacation? Oh, I love the Cape." And leave.
I'm out.
And Whitney's like, "What do you owe in taxes right now?" To people during dinner. And it was so crazy.
I don't do small talk. I only do big talk. So people come in, they're like, "How's the weather? How's this?" I can't do that. I'm like, "What antidepressants are you on?" I think I
Yeah.
have a better one for you. Like, I'm like, "Let's talk about your ancestral trauma."
Somebody would be like, "You have a beautiful yard." She goes, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you want out of this? Out of everything?" People are like, "Dude, it's so intense and it's so crazy." And then your friends are like a mixture of like brilliant people and then brain dead people. So you have like very smart people, and then you have people that like have autoimmune disorders they've invented.
that are like in capes.
Yeah, that are like in capes and don't know where they are, and everything's like they do everything for a brand deal, and they're like pretending to have lupus. So it's a strange mix of people.
I like to surround myself with a very colorful crew, and I do not
Yes.
judge. I am not elitist when it comes to like intelligence. I like to like make a party. First of all, at that time, it was really just only people
Right.
that were in homes without other people, and would get the test that would turn in a
Yes,
negative,
it was very
a
responsible.
negative COVID
Well,
test.
it was very responsible. We'll put that out there.
It was only anti-vaxxers.
We all had
So it was-
hydroxychloroquine on IVs. Yeah.
And so at the time, those were literally the only people that would go out.
Yeah.
No one
It's
would really
true.
go anywhere.
Yeah.
All the sane people said, "No, we're not going to do a Thanksgiving this year." Are you insane?
Most people did
are,
that, but
people are
all
dying
you
in
had
the
to do was
streets.
rattle a pill bottle, and your friends crawled in like stray cats to a bowl of milk.
They all think I'm famous. I think they're famous. It's a shit show.
Right. When you introduce you to someone you've never heard of who's got like 90 million Instagram followers, and she'll be like, they've got a calendar, and it's just like them with an umbrella. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
But no, they're super famous in India.
Right. Right.
Do you want to sell
She
tickets
will
in
tell
India?
you, like, Whitney will be like, this is the biggest influencer in Kuala Lumpur. And you go, what? Why am I here?
But
What's going on?
You conversely were doing that shit with me. You made me feel so fucked. I was like, do I need to get on TikTok and start making like doing little noises and faces on TikTok? I mean, you had a minute where TikTokers were like your main future of your business.
I have dinner with TikTokers a few times, and I make fun of them, and they don't care because they're 19 and good looking, so they don't care that you're making fun of them, which I find refreshing.
Yeah.
It's refreshing when someone goes, "Yeah, I don't care, you pig. Who cares what you say?"
Right.
And that's good.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I had dinner with those same TikTokers. They were looking at me. I think they thought I was Joan Rivers. I don't even know what was happening. I went to dinner with your you fucking leave LA, and then I'm stuck there with a bunch of non-comedians, and you're
you
like,
went with the great Michael Gruen.
yes, who I
Yes,
love.
he's great.
But they're all staring. They have no idea they don't know what I do for, like, they don't know anything about me, and I'm just sitting there, and they're
They
like,
didn't watch Twin Peaks. When you
by the way, one of them did try to hook up with me, and
Which one?
I'm not going to say which one.
Okay.
But now what?
you should have done it.
No, I couldn't. I mean, this was like 24. It feels like if I'm going to date a much younger guy, I have to wait till we're out of the woods on this whole other thing.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you go in there, and that's the best thing for you would be to date a TikToker.
I mean, I don't know.
I would date it too. I'm saying to any and all closeted TikTokers of age, I will absolutely date you.
So how long did it take once you got to Austin to realize
15 minutes.
that you should have just listened
When I
to
drove
me?
from the airport to my home, I wanted to kill myself.
Here's
Here's the reality. It takes a while to realize that it doesn't. Austin's an NFT. It doesn't exist.
No. If you
It's
go
not real.
as someone that loves Austin, the first time I came here, a couple years ago, I was with Kevin Christie. We were doing the Cap City or Paramount or something.
Great.
We come in. We allot 2 days.
I love Cap.
2 days to just be in Austin and hang out. And we see all the pictures on Instagram. Keep Austin weird. I love you so much.
That's not loving Austin. That's you enjoy it for 2 days.
No. We looked through it and we were like, this is 2 blocks. Like,
That's 2 blocks.
This is my favorite
That
thrift
is
store.
correct.
But and then the rest was like Century City. And we're like,
it's 2 blocks. It's
on
for,
Instagram, it looked like it was just Coachella
it's
all
for
the time.
People that are brain damaged and have had bad car accidents.
But you know that I got in the car with this guy that picked me up from the airport, and he was like, "Are you Whitney Cummings?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Can you tell your friends to stop fucking moving here? Like, they don't want you either.
Yeah,
they don't want us."
Hey, cool. Great.
What did you do?
And by the way, shut up. Like, how's he gonna live? His job is driving around.
He thinks that he is in the second string militia for the government.
Oh.
He's on the.
Oh, but I like that guy. That's your armadillo guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was some blue-haired person who's like, I want to shine.
No, he has.
Tell your friends to stop coming here. I have a one-man show. One person
is
show.
someone that it's that body type that's just like a giant pot belly, like you can't see your feet. He believes that the government, when we go to war, is gonna call him in as the reserves.
That's less of a crazy belief than the idea that Austin, Texas is going to be the next big thing.
Can I tell you, there used to be, you know
Miami and Austin, a bunch of criminals moved to Miami. It's like,
that's your algorithm. No one ever said that. Like, no one's been saying.
Everyone is saying it.
No,
Yoji, you don't read.
2 or 3.
It is literally the topic of conversation for the last several months.
By the way,
I've not invented this.
I do not follow comedians that are looking for confirmation bias of the bad choice they already made. Like, dude, this is the shit. This is the shit. Like, I'm like, okay, like, let me.
To live like a person here, you have to have $40 million.
To live like the kind of life that you need, which is, by the way.
Because here's what I would do with that money.
But we're staying in a place.
Kill everyone in Austin.
We're staying
and
in a place.
never have to see anyone. I'm not even talking about buying a mansion. I mean, that $40 million I could invest it in a chemical weapon and decimate the entire city. And then I might enjoy it, start building it up again piece by piece.
But here's the problem with you, is that you are so committed to being pissed off, which is why I think you're great at what you do. No.
I'm not.
We
I'm pissed off for a reason.
We visited
a
$40 million home. We visited it, and first of all, you think it's a dump. Second of all, we go.
I didn't say it was a dump.
We go from the house to the lake, which is, I don't know, 1,000 yards or something, because it's so vast and beautiful. And then you get up here and you're like, this walk is too fucking long. You don't even want the mansion you want. What's going to happen when you?
What I said, and the way that I feel, is that Austin's a lovely place. Being on the lake is beautiful, but you cannot compare it to being on the ocean. In
the freezing cold ocean in the Hamptons, after you get Lyme disease and bitten by 500 mosquitoes and get shot by Seinfeld security.
The Hamptons destroys Austin in every respect.
I am not arguing that.
In every respect.
I just mean the Hamptons.
Palm Beach doesn't destroy Austin? Are you nuts?
Palm Beach is...
What's good about this conversation is that the majority of Americans are unemployed. So this is a good conversation and a relatable one for many people sitting at home right now talking about Palm Beach and the Hamptons.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Yeah,
I will say that for comedians, comedians have to live an interesting life in order to stay interesting. And a lot of comedians that get successful, they get comfortable, they have money, they stop going to grocery stores, they stop doing shit, they stop flying cars, and they stop being fucking funny. And we look at so many comedians that live in these big fortresses in Malibu, and they haven't done stand-up in years, and they're not fucking funny anymore. And I think the key to staying funny is staying somewhat uncomfortable. So I think you coming here and being this pissed off, I mean,
is good.
Don't you feel like it's
for a little bit? I'm not running away. I'm staying for a little bit, but I got to be honest. And I know me and Joe obviously disagrees with me, but I understand that. but I just feel the way I feel about the
I could
city.
live here when I'm in my 50s.
I came from
when
New
I'm
York.
50, I could do it.
New York is the greatest city in the world. LA's
Okay.
Yes, it is. What compares with New York?
I don't disagree, but I think that here's my deal about New York. I love it. Was there most of my 20s. Tried to, because I was with a dude in New York, rented for 6 months in Chinatown, basically. I couldn't even afford Tribeca. I mean, I could. It was just like, I can't give, this is criminal. This is a criminal amount of money.
Right.
Like, the fact that you're charging me for this is
Right.
this is
Chinatown's cool.
This is un-American.
Right.
To charge me for this amount of space.
It is un-American. It's largely foreign buyers. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
No, but I realized I was spending $8,000.
So what's your beef?
I was spending $8,000 a month on a place that was smaller than my horse's stall.
But
that was $400.
Yeah.
My beef with New York is it's a bad deal.
Correct.
I'm ultimately about this is not a good deal.
Here's why it's not a bad deal.
I'm getting scammed.
Here's why it's not a bad deal.
Every time I turned on the tub,
the
toilet effluvium
but
would
the
come out of the
things-
toilet. And then I called a plumber. He came and he goes, "Well, I can't fix this." And I was like, "Well, there's got to be a way."
The
And he goes,
things-
"Here's what he said to me." He goes, "It's New York."
The things that you don't appreciate, the great food, the great art, the theater,
Yep.
the music, the things you don't care about.
Love.
The things you don't really care about because you want pimento cheese spread. These are the things why people live in New York. The sports, the nightlife.
The smell of urine.
Okay, people like urine.
The
People
smell
pay
of, the
people
smell
to
of
pee on them.
Do you realize that when you walk around New York, you get urine on your feet and then you walk into your apartment and you're putting the urine of all of New York City's urine on your floor?
Why are you afraid of urine?
I'm not.
What does it feel?
I've been peed on. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I've been peed on, and I handled it great.
Good.
Other people's urine on my shoes and
New York City, I understand what you're saying.
At
about
least
that.
I'm paying $8,000. I do
But as
believe.
a city, no city functions when it was at its best.
Agreed.
No
Don't
city functions
disagree.
like New York. That's
But
my
I can go visit for a week and see all the plays and see all the theater and go see Blue Man Group and Stomp
Right.
and all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
greats.
Right.
But when I'm in New York, my thing is, if you grew up without money, I think a lot of the people that love New York so much grew up with money, and it's fun for them to rough it in a small apartment and live with 9 people because everyone I know that grew up without money, they go to New York and they're like, well, I cannot spend $8,000 on this. I grew up in this size apartment.
It's not for everybody.
Why can't I go to sleep at night at midnight and not hear women screaming outside and having to wonder, do I need to call? Is that a murder? I don't know what I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, I think many of those women screaming are probably pursuing their artistic endeavors,
Copy
which
that.
I also disagree with.
I remember being in this apartment and hearing screaming, and I'd be like, "Do I go down there? Do I get up? Do I help?" And then at 4 a.m, all the food trucks would come and deliver to all the restaurants. So the beep beep beep, the backing up is what you hear at 4 a.m. And they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to take a nap." I can't sleep
But
there.
people, I understand that, but people, they discount a lot of that stuff because there's benefits to being there.
Right. Which I would love to be able to live there.
Whereas Austin, let's be very honest.
We're not comparing New York and Austin. It's a
No,
different.
we're not. But we're saying this as a city, it doesn't exist. I mean, it's not real.
It's Narnia.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You go through the city, you go, this is not anything.
Right.
It's nothing.
It is.
It's a taco on the floor. It's a drunk frat boy. It's someone shooting someone else.
What are we
doing?
I spent my summers in Texas, and I remember because it's very vast. It's very spread out. That's why people like it.
Can I sue Joe Rogan for being here? Can I sue him?
I think it was the right decision at the time.
Yes.
I think at the time there were so few things shooting and so few things happening. You came here. You did the show a bunch of times. He talked about you moving here. I think that was an important moment.
I love Joe, and I wish it were. And I'm excited to work at his club when he opens it. But as of right now, we're looking at it as a city.
Right.
And as a city, I'm disappointed. Where I live
It's
is
more of a
beautiful. I live
suburb.
far
It's more of a
away.
suburb.
I live far away.
You have to want.
It has all the problems of a city with none of the benefits. The traffic, the shitty, the crime, the bullshit. But you don't get anything good out of it except fucking a barbecue. You ribs. Who cares?
Well,
the entire identity of this city is fucking roasting pigs.
I also think that the like the indie charm of Austin. South
It's
Congress.
just rich kids who are now drug addicts. It's
Well,
not indie charm. It's like I grew up rich.
I should invite them
now
to my
I'm gonna go to
Thanksgiving.
Austin, my parents will pay my rent, and I'm going to try to detox off opiates.
But there used to be a ton of food trucks, and you wait in line, and there was it was like fun and sexy. But like the food, Grace and I went when we stopped on the way to San Antonio, and I was such a loser. I was like, "Where are the food trucks?" And I was like, I went to the reception.
The reason that I go so hard at it is because now I have to leave eventually.
Right.
So I know that I go so hard.
This is like when you cheat on someone you're dating,
and as
just
soon
to
as
know
I
it's
get to LA,
make sure it's
I will
over.
start cheating. I will hate it too.
But where are you? Okay, so I also think comics, we're always going to be miserable where we are, but we get to be on tour most of the time. I think that's the
true.
reason I can live in LA is because I'm gone most of the time.
That's true.
It's touring.
And you have multiple personality disorder.
That's right.
So one of your personalities is upset, and the other one is speaking German.
Why can't I pick a good one to host this podcast? Why do I keep picking the...
I think you're doing good. You're
You
doing
think?
fine. Yes.
I was thinking about it recently, and
Who
I'm like,
listens to this? Women? I mean, this is like women that masturbate with candles and stuff, right? I mean, this is women that you tell them
crystal
don't you sell
dildos.
like mustache removers?
this
to,
is
like,
the goop of podcasts.
women. Yeah, this is like old women that sit around with their barren, childless vaginas watching you cackle. Is that not who's listening? Is that not who's listening? And dudes want to fuck you, and a bunch of horn dogs like Steve will do it for Nelk, who wants to rail you out.
Who's that?
He's a massive star.
But what is milk?
Nelk.
What is that?
God, you're like 68. It's a fucking...
You don't have to be old to not know what's
They're
going
online
on.
pranksters, and they are content creators, and
Okay.
they have like a massive following.
Okay.
Full Send.
Oh.
Do you know anything about Full Send?
No.
You don't know anything about Full Send?
No.
That means you're not sending fully. It's
I'm,
a half send from you at best.
maybe to me, following the latest ephemeral people that come,
They're pretty damn funny.
But here's
these
what
kids,
I'm
and
sure-
they do like these crazy pranks. Where like,
Let
they
me know
pretend
when
to-
they've been famous for 5 years and haven't been canceled. Then I'll learn who they are. I'm not going to name the puppy before someone's old tweets haven't resurfaced yet.
I'm just saying he's very interested. He thinks you're an attractive lady.
Oh, it's one person?
No, it's a team, but one of them, kind of the breakout star, thinks you're attractive.
People think I'm attractive.
There's a guy named Steve will do it. He gives away Teslas to people, and he drinks like a bottle of vodka a day.
What's his
He's
name?
a good guy.
How old is he?
He's a good guy.
What is it?
He
NELK?
Yeah, Steve will do it. He like drinks.
Nelk Steve?
He drinks a fish tank full of rum. And
Do
then
you
he
know
gives
who
away a
Nelk is?
Tesla.
Grace is 25. Do you?
No one around you is 25. You've aged these people horribly in the time.
They're
they've
only
spent
allowed to
with
watch
you.
my content.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Steve
This guy?
Oh, let me see.
The guy with the sorry, he went to YouTube. Don't give him a
God.
hit. Don't give him a hit. I don't want to give him a hit.
Yeah, that guy. This guy.
Oh, he's pretty hot.
He's a good-looking dude.
Yeah, but is he on steroids?
I don't know. I don't think so. Clip this. It'll do well on
The Nelk-
that channel. It'll do well because it's it's in the algorithm. You'll get in the
Nelk.
algorithm.
So what's his name?
Steve will do it.
But-
Because he will do it.
Do what?
Drink and give away Teslas.
So this
And
is
he's fun. They do fun
So
things.
it's like Jackass. It's like the new Jackass.
It's like a Jackass thing. They do like fun things. They go to like Dubai. They
Okay.
met President Trump.
Okay.
It's fun.
And what happened there? Did hilarity ensue?
Not everything's Shakespeare in the Park.
Okay.
It's funny. They do funny shit.
so
Their
who?
sketch- their
So
things
okay.
are funny.
My thing is
They'll find an old man at like a grocery store and they'll like fuck a girl on top of him or something.
Okay.
And then you feel bad for him, but then you realize he probably did the My Line massacre.
But here's the thing. In my day, men
I mean,
did
who
all
are these
that
jokes
shit,
even for?
and they didn't film it.
Yeah.
So this,
He's in shape. The dude's in shape.
I'm also working on this theory that everything that exists has already existed in different iterations. And
Is that your theory? Isn't that... What are you talking about? Isn't that like kind of the theory of relativity?
I'm just saying, but you guys are acting like this is some like mind blowing thing that
it's
guys
no.
do dumb shit. We've
We all-
always had this.
we all
this
know.
is this our generation's Pauly Shore?
I'm just saying you should know what it is. They're like a massive force on the internet.
Again, I will know once they have been on for 5 years and there have been no rape videos or accusations or old tweets that are racist. And I don't commit until they've survived 5 years in the public eye.
Okay.
That's a new idea I just came up with.
Okay.
That's a new boundary.
All right.
You were like, David Dobrik's the guy. And I was like, I don't know. This doesn't
I
smell right.
was-
Doesn't smell right to me.
I was making the observation that was plain in front of everyone's face.
Which was?
He, at that time, was running the internet. The guy had all the money.
Sure, I know what that means.
I
know exactly what that means.
But don't act like you had some like sixth sense that David Dobrik was going to go down for what he went down for.
I know exactly. I know. Yes, I've been around, and as you know, I know how to pick people that have squeaky clean pasts.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was about to say, you have all this sixth sense about
I have good
who's
instinct.
about to get popped. You really?
I just am like, here's what I'll say. When it's a group of a bunch of guys, what are the chances that if you have 9 dudes on a show, one of them hasn't fucked a girl who was drunk?
Why?
If it's one person,
well, what does that mean? Everyone's
that's
drunk.
just odds.
People fuck drunk all
I'm
the
just
time.
saying, but I'm just saying, David Dobrik, of course, if you have a crew around you, everyone's got a turtle. Everyone, as soon as they get successful, they have to have a crew of people. And I'm like, most of those guys are around you. They don't have any fucking talent. They're hanging out because they want to get the leftovers at the end of the night.
But Will Do It is one of the main guys. He's like the main guy.
Okay, great.
Not like a
All I
hanger-on.
see is this guy splits his money between the 6 people in the video. It's like a musician. Everyone's like, dating a musician.
It's not all about money. It's about the fun of getting drunk and giving people Teslas.
Yeah, no.
Because there's someone at home that goes, I don't have a Tesla. And then he shows up.
So let me tell me
drives a Tesla into their driveway, and then they can't afford it.
If that's what he does on camera, imagine what he does off camera.
He's a good man. Why are we slandering this man?
Because I am
You need to start dating someone younger.
I'm dating someone 8 years younger than me.
Yeah, but you need to date someone younger who's famous. You're dating like some guy who's a veterinarian who fingers cats all day. We'll Do It.
Cougars mostly.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say. First of all, they're not giving out Teslas. These are given to them to give out.
I don't think so. I think they actually
They buy them and give them away. Okay,
because they're good people.
So walk me through this. They're giving someone a Tesla, which costs the person they're giving it to money because they have to pay for the insurance. And those people are like, we can't afford to get this Tesla for free.
Maybe the person that's getting it has to go to the doctor and they can't, and they give them a Tesla.
So he's got $100 million but can't afford Accutane?
He looks better now. You're looking at old photos of him. He looks better now.
Okay. Still
go to his Instagram.
Still using that pomade, still committed to that side part?
What?
Is this what we're dealing with?
You got to go to his Instagram. He's better than that.
Okay, what is it, Steve? What?
Will Do. I've said it 9 times.
Okay, but that's not
what
a
does she have,
person thing.
dementia?
Here, will you post the Tim's Patreon on Instagram so I can then look him up on Instagram? You know when you post something on a story and if you go away from it, it goes away? You know what I mean, Grace? You know what I mean? I really don't. Just write Tim Dillon's Patreon. What I'm in is up now.
What I'm trying to do is get you involved.
And then Ben, I'm trying to promote your Patreon.
Thank you. Yes, Tim Dillon's Patreon.
What is the and then the swipe up link is in the thing. The text that Ben sent me.
Thank you. We need more women.
Your Patreon. How do you approach your Patreon? You do actually. How do you approach your episodes that are not Patreon versus your Patreon mentally when you go into it? What's the difference?
The only difference is that the show on YouTube is more like a Tonight Show thing because it's on camera.
There's curtains stapled to a wall.
It's on
holding on by a thread.
This is when she knocks. She's invited me here to do a podcast.
You invited yourself,
and some house she doesn't own, and she's attacking my studio because she's like an elitist. This is her thought. She goes, "There's curtains stapled to a wall." Unlike the great set of Roseanne. Unlike the diner of Two Broke Girls, which was cinematic.
But designer won an Emmy. Set designer won an Emmy.
That's great. And where are they now?
Which I bet she had to sell on eBay.
In the middle of Austin. Right. I mean, it's
living with the bats under the bridge.
But so that's more of a visual show, and then the podcast I look at as more of an old school radio show. It's not on camera. I like doing the Patreon episodes because they're free from the constraints of being on camera.
Right.
I love audio as audio, and I argue for the supremacy of when you listen to Howard, you thought you were in the room,
That's
and then
right.
when you watched him, you felt you were out of it. But I do love the YouTube show too. They're slightly different, but they're very similar.
I also think that audio, for whatever reason, because we're human beings and we get afraid to speak publicly, we get self-conscious. The level of bravery you can have when you're not conscious of a camera, it's a different muscle. Like when I'm doing something that's audio only, I'm like, I'm so much better at this because I'm not worried about lighting and this and the way I said that and like looking like I'm listening, you know, like I'm there's always like background noise critiquing me when I'm on camera.
Yeah.
But when it's just audio, there's an intimacy and there's an authenticity that I feel like I can't always get on camera unless I forget I'm on camera.
Yes.
You know?
That's what I said, yes.
And then
It's a longer and more drawn out.
And then, so what is the plan? Because I strongly believe that you should be doing another thing. I'm going to tell you to do that you're not going to fucking do, just because I said it. And if one of your fucking agents and William Morris said it, you'd do it in a heartbeat.
I'm with CAA.
Okay, whatever. Okay, CAA is a
My
very.
agent got fired from William Morris because
okay.
she was fat, and now I have an agent that's even fatter. All of my professionals are morbidly obese. There's 6 fat people in Los Angeles, and they all work for me or with me. This is true. They work for me or with me in some respect.
All right. We now take a second break in our uplifting program to talk about Warby Parker.
Warby Parker.
I love Warby Parker. I love the name. I'm not entirely sure I could say it more than twice in a row, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. Now they are helping sponsor our podcast,
which is wild.
I'm obsessed. So tell me what we're doing today, because I see a box.
We're going to try on, if you can get this out of my hands, we're going to try on these Warby Parker glasses. Actually, I'll just hand them to you.
Why? Because also they're incredibly affordable. I cannot stand this thing where
this is why
glasses are all of a sudden $340 now, and I'm going to have them for 3 minutes.
Boutique style glasses at great prices.
Right.
They start at $95.
And they'll send you this kit to try it at home, so you don't even have to go to the eye doctor, go to the eye store.
Or go to Warby. You don't have to go to Warby Parker.
You don't even have to go to Warby Parker. You just get it at your house and you try them on.
Okay, this is a game changer.
It comes to your house. You get to pick out what you want.
So they send you a box of 5, and then you can try. You have like a little eyeglass store in your house.
Yep.
Okay, so I get to try them all on.
These I love.
Oh, these I like.
Are you Jacqueline Kennedy?
These are okay, so describe what they look like to people.
If you're listening, these are emerald green, or no, deep forest green
like a cat eye.
with a slat. It's a large cat eye, deep forest emerald green.
Who am I?
It's very Jacqueline Kennedy to me. It looks like you're gonna. It looks like you're
so
gonna
I'm
do
mourning
something
over my dead
secretive.
husband in a car.
You are mourning, but you have to be. You can't cry because you're too pretty.
These I want to keep.
These are clear rose, like rose.
These are for this shirt.
I love this.
Oh, these are amazing, but are they blue light?
No, I don't think so.
I would make these prescription.
Right,
Yeah.
you'd make
These
them
are my
prescription.
favorite glasses
Yep.
I think I've ever tried on.
Glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses.
These are a clear rose
Look
gold.
at this. They have like a blush.
These do go with your shirt. This is very much like you're going to go from the library to the farm.
I love
me.
this.
These are great for you.
What are these?
These are very
Describe them,
Whitney.
describe them,
These are
describe
very
them.
Whitney
Pink
type
tortoise
glasses.
shell.
They are like a
I'm obsessed
pink
with these.
tortoise shell, slight cat eye,
Obsessed.
not too much.
Obsessed.
Glasses like that are really great for you. They kind of pull
Oh
your.
my god, a pink tortoise.
They kind of pull your cheekbone up when you wear glasses like that. Those are good for
Ooh,
you.
These are like A+, especially with like a updo.
Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy. Ships free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/Whitney.
I couldn't pick, so I'm doing this.
And you can,
look,
yeah.
Oh, like a spider.
Yeah, like a
fly.
No, the things that what?
A centipede?
They have lots of eyes.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay.
A fly would need 3
Wait,
try-on
Wait,
kits.
what were you thinking of?
What are the things that is like a bunch of masks on a totem pole?
Oh.
I'm not choosing. I'm taking them all.
Love it.
Ding. Dun dun a bump. Manscaped.com.
Hey, ladies.
Get funky. No, get the opposite of funky.
Get clean, get smooth, get hairless.
Not you.
Be a sphinx.
You ladies are fine. You can have as much hair as you want. Men, it's your turn to be to feel like a dolphin in
Waxed,
captivity.
plucked, and shaven.
Manscaped. Just when you think Manscaped
Has done it all. Here's
Can't-
another one.
like just when you think they can't scape any harder or better, they outdo themselves.
Yeah, they're gonna be taking skin off for long.
There's a new lawn mower 4.0. I gotta say, I didn't have many complaints about
The 3.0 was amazing.
I have the 3.0. It's in my lover's DOP kit. This is the Manscaped 3, and they even improved this one.
Impossible.
He
Yeah,
liked it so much he stole it from me and from the prop closet where we keep our stuff and put it in his Doppel kit.
So the 4.0 is also waterproof. You can now turn the LED light on and off if you don't need
Ooh,
it.
so that you can have like
You
a
can
disco
switch-
ball session, disco ball,
A rave, a ball
shave.
rave.
Yeah.
You can there's a new multi-function on-off switch so you can engage travel lock. Like they've improved it even more.
Wait, so that it doesn't go off when it's
Yeah,
in
because
your.
that one has a button. So sometimes
Yeah.
when you put it in your Manscaped
Oh,
DOP
you
kit,
might
can-
hit the button by
And it can sound like a
accident.
vibrator at
also
the
sell the
airport
dock kit.
security.
you can have it all now. Get it 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com/Whitney. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com/Whitney. It's dad bod season. Time to get smooth.
Why are you not shooting a documentary of everything that is going on right now.
Because it's not that interesting.
I disagree.
Of course you do.
You are getting
This self-important documentary would be the most grotesque thing in the world.
Okay.
This self-important,
Okay.
self-indulgent horseshit. The big lie.
But
lie.
you just-
Let me tell you what the
Yep,
big lie
please.
is. The big lie over the last decade is that people give a shit about what comics do when they're not being fucking funny.
But
they don't.
Let me tell
They
you why.
don't.
Let me tell you why, though.
This obsession with the process and all the horse shit.
Most
No one cares.
comedians,
It's
when
the
they're
documentary. Oh, Ben got here. Ben, did you get us food?
But
Let's
here's
do the show.
I'm trying to give you a
Yeah.
compliment.
Yes, thank you.
Most comedians, when they're not doing stand-up, aren't that funny. If we've learned anything from podcasts, it's comedians during the day are not that funny, especially when they're not with when comedians are with other comedians. There's this thing of let's be as boring as possible because no one wants to seem corny, like they're trying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my problem with a lot of podcasts because I'm like, we're just bombing, like sitting here, like talking about like Mitzi Shore. Who gives a fuck? But you are one of the few comics that's funny when you're not on stage.
Yeah, well, that's thanks, but I still don't think we need a documentary about that.
You at
There's
the air.
too
You
much
at
of
the
me.
all I see is
There's
missed
enough of
opportunities.
me.
All I see is missed opportunities for you.
But you
As
don't
someone,
understand
you know what?
scarcity. You can't just shove yourself down people. I do the 2 podcast episodes a week. It's 2 hours a week. It's a lot. It's enough.
Okay,
And then I go on the road and do live stand-up. Like, people have had enough. I get sick of myself.
I don't disagree, but I think your kind of fans want to see more of you, and because
they're in jail. But
okay, fine, don't listen to me. Let's see how that fucking worked out for you last time you didn't listen to me. When we were moving furniture out of your fucking house so you can get to Austin as quickly as possible so you could become a billionaire.
it's not my fault that Austin sucks. And nobody wants a documentary about me doing a podcast, as you said, with curtains stapled to the wall.
No one wants to watch you come out in huge theaters and go from the Mercedes bus to the theater to the pyrotechnics to like, blah. No one wants to see that. They want to see this exact moment in your career where you are selling out 6 shows at the Wilbur, but then have to get in a rental Camry and then go back to a fucking DoubleTree Inn.
Yeah, but no one's doing that. No one's getting it right. You're making this out to be like I'm like Tina Turner. Like, you're so completely gone. I mean, she's so completely on another planet that like you don't even know what you're even saying. Like, it's not number one. Both things are equally uninteresting. The only thing that's
And
interesting
here's why
is
this
the
is-
stage or the podcast. The behind the scenes shit. This behind the music always sucked. No one cares
Because
about,
they were too famous at the time. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
It only was good when they were on heroin and dying. No one cared. Oh, look, that my dad taught me how to strum a
So
guitar.
you don't
Gives
believe-
a fuck.
so you don't
Play
think you're-
Rosalita, Springsteen. Shut up.
So
Shut up.
You don't think your own fans care about you? That is dark.
No,
That's
they care
dark.
about what I'm doing.
That's dark.
They care about what I'm doing.
Okay.
If what I'm doing is good, it's good. But they don't need the bullshit of like, no one cares. You're not supposed to shove yourself down people's heart. You're like, why don't
Okay,
you
then why don't you go do an Adam Sandler movie at Netflix? Not shoving
Because they
yourself down people's
passed on
throats.
it. Because they said no, but that's not sure. That takes 8 months, and then you put out 1.5 hour thing, and it's a movie.
Okay.
It's not a documentary.
Okay. Why?
Here
what-
I am in Boston. I'm at the rental car
That's not where
place
you're-
now. I'm getting in it. Quick bit joke. Isn't it? Oh, Wendy's. My parents used to take me there. You're gonna
Well, why
hear
are
much-
you? Whoa! Why are you making the shitty version of my good idea? This is what. This is, by the way.
This idea is horrific. It is it's actually worse than The Masked Dancer. I'd much ratr
No, but I do want you
on
to
The
be in a
Masked
sequin
Dancer.
penguin suit in the entire documentary. What I am trying to say is someone that has whatever. I have, my friend Nick always says this when there is a version of when one time we were looking at the stars outside my house and he was like, oh, that's the Big Dipper. And I was like, okay, I don't care. And he's like, well, that's Ryan's belt. And I was like, I don't care. Stop explaining this. And he goes, when you're an older person, you have an obligation to pass on wisdom to the younger people. And I can't stop telling you, it's like a tick. It's like an
Is that wisdom? He's pointing out Orion's belt.
No, but I'm saying,
Is that wisdom?
I'm just telling you, when you know something, okay, Grace and I were talking about this today. So I don't remember exactly what the fuck it was, but who was it that couldn't use a fig thing? That didn't know how to use a thing? Who was it? one of your nieces or cousins didn't know how to use the thing, and I said yes because wisdom skips a generation because we just talked about this.
Do they still have the queso lupa?
Why did I let you
that.
drink these ciders? Okay, remember when you because here's my theory: the older generation passes on wisdom to the next generation, and they're like, oh. We've learned everything. We don't need to pass this to the next. So the third generation is dumb. Yes. What was it? Damn it! It was something about like an arcane.
Oh my God! It was putting metal in the microwave.
Putting metal in the microwave. So she says that her friend. What is it? Her friend who is 25 put fucking metal in the microwave, and it was like, yeah. No one thought to tell her that because it was so obvious that you didn't need to pass that wisdom on, and then the wisdom was never passed on.
Yeah, but telling me to make a documentary is dumb.
Did you see?
I mean, it's just dumb.
It's not.
Documentaries are good when they're about pedophile cults, political corruption, things like that.
The next level in your, because also this, I've learned this is just who I am, and I don't even give a fuck anymore. Everything to me is a business. And it's like a tick. It's like I can't that's why I can't have hobbies because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna knit, and then I'm like, I need to sell these on Etsy, and I need to go patent this. Like everything has to turn into a business. I am watching you lose money by the day by not tapping into the pathos underneath your rage.
But I think I'm earning money by not taking your advice. Do you understand?
I would watch because here's the thing. Okay. Let me take another angle with you. Comedians' jobs. What is our job?
I mean, at this point, Whitney, I don't even know.
Our job is to what?
Make people laugh.
Yes. And what is laughter?
What bodily function.
No. What is it ultimately? What does it come from? What are you doing when you make someone
Your
laugh?
throat.
You're surprising someone.
You're surprising.
Our job is to surprise people, right? We're the fucking people that jump out of the haunted house. You know, our job is to take them one way, go there. Say the thing no one else can say. Because that's when everyone's like, you can't say that. It's like, the more you tell me not to say it, the more I have to say it. Because that's the surprising thing to do. Our job is to surprise people, right? And sometimes, and I think part of what Mark Maron kind of did was he did an emotional podcast. It was surprising to hear a comedian talk like that.
That's true. That was.
At
it was
the time.
groundbreaking when he. Yeah.
It was surprising to hear someone that's like grizzly.
Talk about things not going well, which is what he did. And most people lie about that, and he was on it. Yeah.
To reveal the pain and the anger and to talk about his addiction, that was surprising because most comedians will go up with the bravado and they'd be like, yeah, it was surprising.
Right.
Forget about what you think of it.
Yes.
It was surprising. I was trying to go, what's the most surprising thing I can do in this moment?
Right.
When I'm on stage. What's the most surprising thing I can say? What's the most surprising?
I'll tell you that makes sense.
Fuck you.
Would be shocking. But you're saying what would be surprising for me is to have like a heartfelt documentary.
Doesn't have to be heartfelt. I just want to go watch you visit your mom. That's all. And then, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You can keep wearing costumes and run around Beverly Hills screaming at meter maids in pumpkin costumes. You can keep doing that forever.
That makes people happy.
You will do very
so
well.
Instead of doing that, I should exploit my mother's mental illness for views. That was your suggestion. So instead of doing a funny topical bit, I should put cameras on my sick mother and try to extract views from the last few years she has on Earth.
I'm just saying, if you put your mom in a pumpkin costume, I just feel like you would not have to choose between Austin and LA. You could have homes everywhere. And you know what it is? And maybe maybe I'm wrong because the way you talk about this helps us paint a picture of it, and seeing it might demystify it. But I think comedians are so inherently, I think people's lives are so inherently interesting, the minutia of our lives.
They're not. You're wrong.
But here's what
you're dead wrong.
There's
absolutely wrong.
There's a couple.
No one cares. No one cares.
Okay, you mentioned shows that you like when we started. What are the shows that you're watching?
Now?
You just said there's great shows on TV. And then you mentioned The Godfather. Like, I'm the fucking old lady.
I knew I was coming to see you today.
You're the oldest woman I know.
I knew I was coming to see you today, so I prepared with a documentary about Aileen Wuornos. Other than that, I haven't been. Okay.
The tougher you are And the more you deflect this, the more I think it's gonna be
I just don't
good
think it's a good
documentary.
idea to.
That's a perfect way for a documentary to start. This is a fucking bad idea. I don't want to do this.
And then
You're just making me think you should do it even more based on your reaction because you are so afraid of revealing yourself in the cracks to the world.
No, I think it's a stupid idea that will bore people. I
But
reveal myself all the time.
all
I
the
have hours of revelatory material.
Here's what I'll say.
Everyone knows everything about my life.
The best comedians should say this exact thing. When
But
people
I'm saying-
when people think that they're interesting, they never are. But the people are like, that's boring. That's boring. That's
I'm not
always.
saying I don't say interesting shit, but this idea of a documentary is bananas.
Did you see the Trixie Mattel documentary?
No.
Okay.
But that's more interesting. Trixie Mattel's more interesting.
I just think your fans, I don't know. There's just something going on with what I'm trying to give you a fucking compliment. How much do you hate yourself that you will not
It's
at
not-
least go? Just
You're giving me a job. You're giving me a project.
why haven't
It's
you?
not a
No, I'm
compliment.
giving Ben a project. You will do nothing. You will do absolutely nothing. You will not lift a finger. You have not done. I've never seen you toil since I've known you. You show up and then you scream at him and then he edits together.
No one edits anything, by the way. The show is raw and good.
Well, I mean the we are editing out when I quoted Tony Hinchcliffe from your Patreon.
Yes, we already
Did you take that out?
We've already done that.
I'm too afraid to check my phone.
We've already done that.
That we did have to edit out one thing from your Patreon, but the way you edit your videos together
Yeah.
online, they're edited within like 25 minutes. I'm like, does this guy ever
He's
get to go
amazing.
fuck his wife? I mean, where is
He's
she?
amazing.
So I just think comedians right now need to think on their own and stop doing what every other comedian is doing. I do the road and then I do a special and then I do a podcast. It's like, who's going to be the person that's like, okay, this is this interesting thing nobody's doing. I always try to like think about that, even if you don't like it.
What if I did not let me throw an idea at you now, because I think that's opened up a lot of thoughts. And don't laugh, I'm being dead serious. What if, do you remember the Ice Capades? Like where they did Disney on Ice? Like no comedian right now is doing their life story on ice. Like nobody's learned how to figure skate. No one can do it. And to me, when I look at a comic, I want to see them figure skate on ice and tell the story of their life.
Okay, I, Tanya, won an Oscar.
Horrible movie.
If
Horrible.
Kevin Hart decided to do like Black Blades of Glory, I bet it would be a fucking home run.
Great.
That would sell to Netflix.
Yeah.
Business brain.
Yeah. Black Blades of Glory. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first.
All right, I love you, but
Can I go eat? Because
no,
I was promised
I have
food.
more questions. Okay, so you're gonna move back to LA, and that
One day.
Oh, this is what I really want to.
One day.
What is we are such an odd friendship.
Yeah.
I think people in comedy are very jealous of our friendship.
Yes, perhaps. Are they?
You are. Can
I
I say-
respect
hold on,
you.
hold on,
You're
hold on.
very successful.
Hold on.
You work very hard. You have a crazy work ethic. We both work a lot.
This is the thing I
We
love the
work
most.
differently, but we work a lot.
You know what I love about you? I feel like you were the kid in improv class where they'd like say anything from the audience, and they're like down at the DMV, and they'd be like, "Hey, I read the DMV." You're like, "That's fucking dumb." No. Like,
Yeah, I never took an improv class in my life.
You will not go in any direction.
You work a lot. I work a lot. There's a bond between people that really enjoy work and like to work.
That's right, because
And
we have an
who've
agreement.
Who've eviscerated their private lives and most of their relationships
Mm-hmm.
because of that, and who've drained themselves of any sense of happiness, and who've propelled themselves forward by a commitment to this thing, this opaque
Addiction, not a commitment.
darkness,
It's definitely an
this
addiction.
sense of finding meaning in this thing of which ultimately there is none to be found.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just two people hopelessly walking along a road, hoping and praying that a car hits them so that they don't have to continue to wake up with the need to continue to do this. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's some real common ground.
I think that you and I have an agreement that whenever we hang out, we're either plotting our next move, talking about investments, or monetizing our hangs.
Yeah, I think that there's absolutely nothing human that ever goes on. I agree.
Like every time we
Yes.
hang out, we have an agreement. Like this is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. This is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Like there's no sort of like we should hang out and talk not on camera. Like we get to the point.
Yeah, well, that's our lives, is doing this bullshit.
Who's your best friend?
Ben.
Okay, but
What do you mean? Oh.
what happens when there's no pie left, as you would say?
when I don't do the show anymore.
What happens when
Me and
his
Ben will
wife
be
finally
friends.
says, him or me?
No, he makes money. He fucks his wife. How long do you need to fuck someone? 12 hours? Like, what are you talking about? You could fuck every night.
What is your dynamic with Ben's wife? Is there any tension?
We have sex. They bring me into the bed once a month. Ben is truly the only thing I care about on earth. Like,
It's very true.
Ben is the only thing I care about on earth. Literally, there's a few people in this room and you. I would watch you all burn alive if I knew that I could save Ben. I wouldn't even try to save any of you. To save women at the expense. No, Ben is my brother and best friend. I mean, Ben is the only person really in my life that I know will stay there forever because we built the thing from the ground up.
Also, he has Stockholm syndrome. What choice does he have? He is a beaten man that you have blackballed in the business and said if anyone hires him.
I know, he could be getting you out of a tub. I know, I get it. It would be much better. It would be much better. I understand. But I don't think the fact that I work with him invalidates the friendship.
Okay.
This kid believed in me when no one believed in me.
agree.
When you didn't, when
I
Joe
still
Rogan
don't.
didn't. Agreed. When none of you knew who I was and didn't really care, Ben thought I was really funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's very important to me because that's my whole life.
Right. So I guess to me, we were kind of talking about this earlier of what happens when people are around. As a comedian, when people are around you got to surround yourself with people that challenge you. I don't think Ben does that.
I do think he does that. I do. He does it in ways that
Ben?
He does it in ways that I don't think you may realize.
Mm-hmm. He just came up to you and tried. I feel like I am helpful. This is my only goal in life is to be either funny or useful.
You are one of those. No. Challenging me. I
don't mean challenging. I just want Ben I want us both to connect about the things you need to say no to, because the next 2 years of your life is not about what you say yes to. It's about what you fucking say no to. And a lot of people that you think are fancy are going to come up to you and try to use you to get their own clout. And the answer has to be most of your emails. Don't even fucking check the emails at this point. But most of the answers are no. And when I hear like this movie didn't sell Netflix, and I'm like, why don't you fucking call me and run this by me? No one has failed in this business more than me.
Yeah. No. I number one, I think you're overestimating the interest in me. There's not as much interest in me as you think. It comes from the fans, which is okay with me.
Right.
This business that you and many others have devoted your life to is not that interested in me, and I am not that interested in it. Because it is not.
I agree.
What me and Ben have done is much cooler.
I agree.
Much more interesting and much funner.
I agree.
It's much more fun.
Yeah.
To do what me and this kid have done.
Yeah.
Than what you guys had to do.
I totally agree with you.
That's just a reality.
I totally agree with you. But there are going to be some other weird new opportunities that might serve you. One out of that you'll enjoy. You know what I mean? I do feel...
And we'll run them by you.
I do...
If that's what you'd like.
Yeah.
We will run them by you.
I want no decision made without me BCC.
We will run them by, but it's unfair to say that Ben doesn't challenge.
That was
it's an unfair...
I agree.
It's an unfair thing to say.
It's definitely unfair to say that I came up in the 30s, but we're joke here.
No. I know it's a joke, but I think that like what you misunderstand.
No, I don't really believe that.
No, I'm not even saying about him. I'm saying this world that you're living in does not exist.
No, but I don't live in that world. I'm podcasting every week.
I understand, but you still do because it's always about that world coming in and then all the opportunities. Yeah. It's not real.
Yeah. No,
it's Puff the Magic Dragon.
By the way, it's never been real. It's everything we always did was.
But it isn't because you have a lot of money and you did very well in it. But it's over now.
Yeah.
It's over. And that's.
But here's what I'll say.
That's what it is.
But easy for you to say because you have been podcast. It is that I'm still.
I don't know why I'm frightened. I know my way around here. The sitcom stage, Roseanne's rage, the sound here.
Ma'am, you have to leave the building.
I have 52 assistants. And I always am persistent that you do the masked dancer.
But I mean, look, that was at a time. Okay, I believe I came so, it was so fucking hard for me to get whatever I got. I fought tooth and nail. I come from the place of you don't fucking say no to anything. You say yes to everything because that producer produces something else and is going to give you a job in 2 years, and you say yes to fucking everything, and you show up and you tap dance and you're better than everyone and you fucking prepare and you say yes to the Max Dancer tomorrow because then you're going to get this. Like,
I feel like I'm talking to Elizabeth Holmes.
I'm just...
Does anyone feel like they're talking to
I'm just saying,
about
but
bloody meters?
You
Like,
have to understand,
I
because
mean, it's
all
it's
you
unhinged.
motherfuckers that are going to come for me in the comments with all the pizzas,
I would love pizza. Can we eat food?
yes, hold on.
No
We're
food.
Can you call my pizza
Can
restaurant
anyone
that sells
have-
babies to eat and get him a real pizza?
I mean, I'm starving.
We only have adrenochrome and
Is
babies.
there anything?
There actually is a bunch of mac and cheese in the pantry. Do you want me?
No.
Yes.
We're good. No, we're gonna get.
No,
Taco
he
Bell.
wants to stay miserable. He doesn't want you to
I don't
solve
want
the
a
problem.
bowl of mac and cheese. I was promised a
He-
meal.
he wants to-
I don't want a bowl of mac and cheese in the pantry. It's
he
crazy.
wants to go to his podcast.
This is what she does. She offers a thing. You get a bastardized version of it, and when you don't, and when you're not thrilled with it, she's like, "What about Thanksgiving dinner?" And you show up. She's like, "It's a horseshoe," and you're like, "What?" She's like, "Stay miserable then."
We can make the pizza.
No one wants a
Can we
gluten-free
put the pizza in the...
I will try to turn the.
No one wants it.
Women
No,
don't cook
we're
anymore.
eating
I
Taco
hired
Bell.
a 25-year-old assistant. They don't cook anymore.
I know.
They're out of the kitchen now. You
You-
can't just look at a woman and expect her to know how to use a stove.
I know.
She can't even turn a stove on.
I
This is
understand.
feminism at its finest.
I just want to say that I've learned a lot on this episode.
But hold on, I want to say one last thing.
Please.
Because I will what is that I am not fully 100%.
Well, yes, and we know that, and that's okay.
Which is, by the way, why
it's okay.
Which is why I didn't want to do a podcast for so long. I was like, I can't let people see my real personality.
Right, it's okay.
Everyone's like, do a podcast. When you do a podcast, throwing me to the fucking wolves. I didn't realize that YouTube
Right, I
was the
believe
piranha tank.
You did convince yourself to do a podcast.
No, I didn't. I went on everyone else's podcast. I was perfectly fine being a guest for the rest of my fucking life.
Right.
Driving to Venice to do two
This
fighters.
was the version of
two
this.
fighters, one
you
kid.
turned around to somebody and went, "I should do a podcast."
No, I
And they're
did
like,
not.
Maybe
I
you
did
should.
not. It's
She's
not
like,
true.
they keep hounding me to do it.
Not true. And everyone said, do a podcast. And I was like, all right, fine. And then everyone's like, she's crazy. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's why
Right.
I spent 8 months crafting something that you'd see at the end of the year. It was all together and pulled
Okay.
together, and I didn't stutter, and my hair was brushed. Now this whole thing of like I have to be on camera every week with no makeup artist. And
So what is your last bit of
my
parting
last
wisdom?
part is I am not fully 100% solvent the way you are, which just I'm only gonna podcast forever, and I don't have to all those skills that I fucking like. You were a big swimmer. Imagine never being able to swim again. I mean, like I have all these skills and they for nothing.
Right. I cry for you, and my heart bleeds. But those skills have made you good money. You have a great quality of life,
Yeah,
aesthetically on the outside, and that matters. And you've been successful in your industry, and
but that industry is
it's kaput.
but I do.
It's kaput. I mean, it's over. People in major movies have 50,000.
Do you know what it's like to be a woman doing a podcast on YouTube? It is really hurtful sometimes.
It's only because people are listening.
What can I do to get my YouTube comments just a little more positive?
I would suggest.
Fuck Jake Paul.
No, I would suggest that really the honest answer, less comedy talk. Let's talk about the business.
I don't feel like I do that.
Well, because people, it doesn't.
No one
affect
cares.
that.
No one cares.
No one cares.
No, when someone comes on
No one cares.
I agree.
Yes.
And cancel culture. That's all. People come on. They're like,
No
we're not
one
allowed to say.
cares.
I'm like, we can't talk about this again. No one
cares.
gives a shit.
But you have only people in the business on, so it inevitably steers to the business.
Interesting.
And no one really
I
cares.
just want to talk about ancestral trauma, and
No one wants that either. No one wants it either. Here's what people want from a female podcaster.
murder stories.
Anal. Discuss anal for 30 hours a week.
That's
No,
Is that? I mean, that does well.
I'm kidding. Well, you either got to do that or be Christian Amanpour and be
But
like,
here's what it is.
"Hello."
I came up as a comic doing dirty jokes. She's dirty. She's like that. Just became something someone liked. I did it 10 years ago. People were like, she's blue.
I think the show's good and you're building and you just got to keep building. That's
Yeah.
all. the only criticism I ever have about any podcast, really, other than that they're not good, is that no one cares about the business of comedy. No one cares about any of that. They just want you to be funny about things
that are right.
That they see. You got to fill the void that the late night shows are left behind because they're so shitty and all that stuff.
That's right.
And that's why I'm a little surprised, because you are such a devotee of the old system. I would be making it more of a show that has a script
with puns
and no, a higher production, in the sense of like, not only just your production value is good, but like, I would think you'd be doing a mini Tonight Show.
That's what I tried to. There were times where we were doing like the jokes and news and all that kind of stuff, and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck is. It's very hard to ascertain what's working. Here's why I do.
Have you thought about real estate? Like selling real estate.
I'd be a good realtor.
You'd be great.
I'd be a great. I can, because I'm such a good liar and I never get to do it anymore. But I would love to do something like that.
Yeah.
Like to just trick people all the time.
Well, I think it's a great show, and I'm happy always for the opportunity to be on.
People, I mean,
these are epic episodes. People love them.
Yeah. I mean, you know what else? It's also, my thing is also filling the void that the roasts left, because I think adults really do enjoy roasts, and they know everyone's joking and they know everyone's okay. And there's this new thing that everyone's so fragile and no one can take a joke. Like, I think that there's also a huge void in that, especially a man like coming at a woman hard, and everyone's like, women are made of glass, you're not allowed to say anything to us ever, because it's like, we're as strong as you, but we're also really super fragile. Like, which is it? So it's also that, I think, as well.
Yes,
it is the fact that I have gone numb and allow you to verbally abuse me.
You're not. I don't verbally abuse you. What's interesting about these is this generational thing. We're similar ages. We are, right? How old are you?
38.
I'm 36. These are similar ages. And yet, we have very different experiences in the thing that we do.
Yeah.
You had one experience.
Yeah.
I'm having another experience.
Yeah.
And that is, there's a collision there. There's a tension there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do think there's a day that you will do a Broadway show where you're doing a monologue or a something, and because there is a
I'm not against that.
Okay, yeah, there is a different Scott Rudin producing, of course. There is a level of, like, I did a TV show recently just as like a whatever, and there is something about like everyone's here to make this magical thing. It's silly. It's like playing dress up when you're a kid.
But here's why that's so great.
And then everyone's raping each other behind the scenes.
You don't have one Ben. You don't have any. There's nothing real. It's all bullshit. If you had one Ben, if you had one person.
How much, Ben, what's your price to leave Tim? I'm just curious. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But how much? What would be if someone came at you and was like, Rogan or someone was like, I want you, I need you full time. What's your number to leave Tim Dillon?
I mean, I wouldn't, and the reason is like, if Tim's done with the podcasting and everything, I'm just walking away from everything.
Okay,
I like doing this with Tim and no one else.
And if Ben left my show...
But let's see what happens when that offer comes in.
If Ben left my show, I don't know that I'd be able to do the show.
Wow.
I would have to do something else, and that's when I'd probably call you and ask for 10 of your bullshit ideas.
But you trying to make him laugh is my favorite.
But it's a real friendship.
Yeah,
and when you go, everyone's here and everyone's on crack and raping each other, it's like nothing's real. So you're like, oh, you have something real, but you don't have 40 of it. It's like, what?
Interesting.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Less is actually more.
Yeah.
You don't need all the bullshit if you have something where you're comedically in sync with somebody and you want to make something cool.
And my biggest thing about this is it's hard to...
Am I getting paid for this?
You might get some frozen pizza or macaroni.
It will not be cooked. It will be frozen.
My thing is that if I am doing something as a comedian, going back on the road, I know exactly where I fucking stand. I tell a joke. I know if you like it, if you don't. I know the difference between a real applause break and a forced one because everyone's like proud of me and happy. Like, I know, that's what I know. I know how to put something on the air and see the fucking number. Like, this is a weird thing where it's like, it's a skill that I don't quite have yet, which is to keep going boldly in one direction with a bunch of YouTube comments yelling at you. And you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to keep going or if this is the right direction, or do I I know not to take notes from executive. I know if an audience doesn't laugh at a joke, they're right. I don't know in the comment space who's right. I know the numbers. That's but then you see comments and you're like, if this was an audience of people in front of me and they were all like, we don't think that's funny, I would stop doing it.
But why do you read? Who cares?
I'm just saying it. Like it is a part of the thing when on YouTube you've got thumbs ups and thumbs downs. And
I think if you haven't grown up with it, like I didn't really grow up with it either.
Yeah, me either.
But that's why you internalize it so much, because a lot of people that have grown up with it know it's not real.
Yeah, that's
and half of the comments that are like, fuck you, you suck, are people that if you message them back, they're like, hey man, I'm actually a fan. I'm just trying to get attention. No one, it doesn't really matter. What matters is like, are people affected positively by the shit you're doing?
Interesting.
And if there's 20 people that obviously you want more, but if there's people that are affected positively by what you're doing, who gives a fuck?
Because it's like when you do such hot fucking takes on shit. Like last week I did this whole thing about how we need billionaires and we need people like Elon Musk because there have to be incentives to do the shit. You know, like it was just like we're mad at billionaires until they make penicillin or what. You know what I mean? Like our love.
Yeah, people got mad at you with all the fucking the communist symbol. Why am I blanking out on
the swastika?
No, the
flag,
hammer and the sickle.
Did they send me that?
Yeah, I don't know. No, but I'm just saying. So what? A bunch of people tweeted at you that you
no,
don't
a hammer and a
understand?
sickle is what I use to get my face looking like
Understood.
this.
But yeah, so then they got mad at you about the billionaires.
Well, yeah, it was just kind of like a hot take, and you're kind of like, are people going, I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's an interesting thought experiment.
I mean, 3 times a week, people tell me that I'm the worst thing that's ever lived. I have people writing articles about me that I'm this, I'm that. Who cares?
Yeah, that means they're listening.
It doesn't
matter. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, it's my job. Comedy's a democracy. I'm supposed to listen to people, but then you're kind of, I just get like lost in it, and it's just like.
Yeah, but it's the same shit.
I mean, most of my comments, I would imagine,
Think
are
of
just
them as
Ben. I feel like they're just Ben
Yeah,
and
that's
you.
what he's doing. I would want Ben, if somebody offered Ben a crazy amount of money to leave me, I would want him to take the money and then use it so that me and him could do other shit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like there's always a way for things to. I think that part of what
You
you're
can do
doing,
your Borat. You can.
Part of what you're doing with the comments is you're finding reasons to feed the insecurity that we all have.
Right.
You're looking for the reasons.
Right.
If you look for it, you'll find it.
Yeah, yeah.
If I looked for homophobia, I would find it.
Interesting.
If you look for misery, you find it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm
Your
fucking
specialty.
here. Yeah. But like, so don't look for it. Don't pick it up. Like AA has a great saying, don't pick it up.
Yeah, of course.
It's there, just don't pick it up.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit? Just do what you're gonna do. The trade-off you make when you do anything is that people have the right to hate you.
That's right.
They have the right to not like it.
That's right.
They have the right to disagree with you. They have the right to call you names. That's the trade-off. And what you have the right to do and the opportunity to do is you have a platform that you can then do what you want to do, which is so fucking rare.
Yeah.
And that comes with the people that are going, well, fuck you. I don't like it. And that also comes with people that go, it's the best thing ever, and it gets me through my week. And you got to choose who are you listening to. Tim Dillon on Patreon, Tim J. Dillon on Twitter and Instagram.
This will not get you through your week.
Please,
it will make your week worse to go to timdillon.com.
Tim J. Dillon
My
on Twitter
podcast
and Instagram.
actually
Follow
helps
me.
you get through hard times.
Follow
Tim
me,
Dillon's
TimDillonComedy.com.
creates the hard
All
times.
of my tour
He
dates,
is
many of them are sold
toxic.
out,
He is the
but they
opposite
are
of a
on
mental
sale right
wellness
now. They're on
program.
sale.
WhitneyCummings.com.
FakeBiz.net for the merch.
RealBiz.net is WhitneyCummings.com.
520 merch drop.
Actually,
FakeBiz.net.
you can
Sign up
actually
to be
play my
alerted
podcast in your office and not get fired.
And when merch goes
This is
up,
this is the opposite.
live. Do you really want to play her podcast in your office? You won't get fired. You'll jump out the window. Okay. FakeBiz.net.
Why not a .com?
Because it's cool. It's retro.
Oh my God. Don't ride elephants!